Greetings, as always, and welcome. This is the New Thought Media Network. I'm Ken Ludwig, and this is the Vibrant Living Hour. I almost forgot the name of my show. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy, and that you are living your best life, doing whatever you're doing, wherever you are. I am just wishing you the best of everything. Interesting times. People are stressed. People are frustrated. People are maybe a little bit of fear out there. Do your best to always be transforming your thoughts into that next highest vision of you. Just simply do a little what I call catch and correct. Just every time you find yourself experiencing a negative thought, just stop yourself and go, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to be a positive influence. I'm here to be a beneficial presence on the planet. And just kind of change your mindset, change what you're thinking about. It's a great practice to get into, because when you do it, and you'll find it's in the beginning it feels weird maybe, but you'll find that as you practice and as you do it over and over again, just like anything else, it's just like working out. All right, you strengthen the muscle, if you will, that is the consciousness or the awareness to stop yourself. This isn't what I want to be thinking about. I want to be thinking something more positive. Works for meditation as well. When you're meditating and your mind wanders, and of course, anybody who meditates knows your mind wanders. It's just what happens. But when your mind wanders, you just stop yourself and bring yourself back to I'm not here to be thinking about my business. I'm not here to be thinking about my neighbors or the barking dog in the background. I'm here to meditate. Don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself names. Don't denigrate yourself because you're not perfect. Oh my God, you're not perfect. I hate it when that happens, but just make the correction. And it'll benefit you. It'll benefit you. It'll cut down the stress. It'll cut down the anxiety of just the day-to-day stuff that's going on in the world. It doesn't always seem like it. It's just always something. It's always something. There's plenty to worry about. And if we spend our time worrying, we are, as Einstein said, we're making tremendous misuse of imagination. Better to spend my time focused on the world I want to be in, the world I want to live in, the world I want to create for myself and for my beloved Lisa, and for my son and his wife, and our friends and our families. Just what's the world we want to create for them? And it starts with the world I create for myself, right? It starts with where I put my thoughts, where I put my intention, where I put my focus on my life. And of course, the old joke, right? If you don't have an intention for your own life, someone else will have an intention for you on how you're going to participate in theirs. So you might as well have something for your own. I want to point out here, I'm experimenting here with different looks, because it's again, those of you who watch the show know my beloved Lisa and I are kind of in, I don't know, permanent temporary housing. Maybe we're staying with my sister-in-law Amy in her house. 95% of our belongings are in storage. So I'm trying to find the right place to do the show here in the house. And there's a little room here. It's kind of a little, almost like a bay window room, if you will, in the front of the house. And I'm doing it from in here now. I'm doing the show from here, and I'm experimenting with different looks. You've all seen my chakra hanging that I use in the background. And my sister-in-law Amy is an artist. And if you're interested, you go to sacredartstudio.net and you can see her work. And one of her works is hanging behind me right here. This is called Unity Consciousness. It's absolutely a beautiful painting. This is all hand painted by Amy. This is quite amazing. I think it's incredibly beautiful. But those of us who are practitioners of the science of mind will recognize immediately. Let's go this way. The science of mind symbol at the teaching symbol, Ernest Holmes teaching symbol at the center of it. So really very cool. It's again, sacredartstudio.net. You can go there and look at that art, and maybe you find something that you'll be interested in, because it's very cool. In fact, Lisa just put it in the comments, www.sacredartstudio.net. So if you're somebody who's in the comments, you'll find it right there. So I put down the show description today for growing older as opposed to getting older. One thing that each and every one of us will share with each and every other one of us on this planet is the one experience between that moment we take our very first breath and that moment when we take our very last, whether you're here for 1 second or for 110 years, we all share the same experience of aging. And it's interesting to live in the United States because the United States, aging is like this thing that's looked down upon. It's it's not a glamorous thing at all. You know, and those of us who are getting a little older, we're just, you know, we talk in terms of aging is not for the faint of heart, and it sure isn't. It's not for wusses, because there's things that happen as you grow older. Mother Nature takes things away from you. Mother Nature just gives you alternate abilities, if you will. You don't have the same abilities you had when you were young. You don't have the same the same resilience. You don't have the same physical vibrancy. You don't have the same physical strength, and you have to learn to accept your limitations, but at the same time, you have to enjoy your life. You have to have a good time. And there's so many different schools of thought. There's so many different ways to go about taking good care of yourself and enjoying your life. But one of the things I know for absolute certain, that sitting on your butt, watching TV, drinking beer or booze or smoking dope or whatever it is you do to anesthetize yourself, if you're one of those people that likes to anesthetize, whatever the things are that you do that are not life affirming, if you're doing that as a habit, if you've you're getting older and you're like, okay, I can't run anymore, or I can't lift the weights I used to lift, or I can't see as well as I used to see. I can't hear as well as I used to hear. I'm just gonna sit back and get old. I'm not a fan. I'm going kicking and fricking screaming is what I've always told everybody. And what I really latched onto is growing older. You can't, the minute you stop growing, you might as well just get in the hole and let them start throwing dirt in your face, because you're done. It's about growth. And the growth starts basically in the physical. The growth starts with taking care of your body consciously. I don't mean growth as in bigger muscles, because Lord knows I try that every single day and it doesn't work as well as it did 30 years ago. But I mean growth as far as taking care of the cells of your body, making sure that you are doing the very best, most life-affirming things you can do for the physical health of every cell in your body. And I will say this, I probably said this on the show before, from Florence Scovel Shinn's amazing book from the 1920s, maybe 30s. Boy, I should know exactly when that book was written. The Game of Life and How to Play It. She says, infinite intelligence fills my consciousness with health, and every cell of my being is filled with light. I love that. That's the way you want to feel about what you're doing, about how you are nourishing yourself, about how you're taking care of yourself. You want to feel that every cell of your body is filled with light. And you can picture that if you want. You know, I have been experiencing this thing. Those of you who've watched for a while know that I've been experiencing this thing with supposed degenerative disc disease, which to be honest with you, I can't wait to go to my new doctor here next week, and get x-rays done, because I am fairly well convinced that I have been using consciousness and prayer work and nutrition to rehydrate and rebuild the discs in my spine. We'll see where that goes. But I think part of that is my daily practice in my meditation of making sure every cell of my being is filled with light. And that includes the light of every single cell in the discs of my spine, and every single cell of every vertebrae in my spine, and everything else that needs to be paid attention to as I age, the things that have changed. I try to make sure that every one of them is filled with light. So I had, back last year, a good friend of mine did a video on, he talked about some things that came out of the Journal of Aging, which is something I'd never heard of, but you know what? There's a journal for everything, isn't there? My CBD infused Thursday afternoon podcast coffee treat. 5 milligrams CBD in every little straw stick. I mix it with a half a cup of regular coffee, and then I put that in there. stuff is really cool, and it's if you want to try it, let me know. It's real. I think you'll like it. I like the fact that I can drink it in the afternoon. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time here where I am, and I can drink this in the afternoon. It's not going to keep me awake, which I really, really, really like. And at the same time, I get kind of a sense of lift and clarity. And I just treat myself every Thursday. And the podcast, it's the only day of the week I have coffee in the afternoon. But from the Journal of Aging comes the idea that you want to prioritize self-care. Prioritize self-care. There is no substitute for self-care. If you ain't taking care of you, ain't nobody else going to do it. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to apply a conscious awareness of self-care, things I am doing just for my well-being, my physical well-being. And here's some things. I mean, there's so many more that you can add to this, but here's 5 things that came out of that article from the Journal of Aging. Consume some kinds of fermented foods. Okay, now that's an interesting one for most people. Fermented foods are like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha. Kombucha is really good, but you got to be really careful with kombucha. You just want to make sure that you're not getting one that's got a ton of sugar in it, because so many of them have a ton of sugar in it. So fermented foods, consume something. You know what? You know why fermented foods? Because they're really, really, really good for gut health. They really help your gut. And and to however 1,500 years ago or however long ago it was that Hippocrates was alive, Hippocrates famously said that the gut is the key to all health. And Hippocrates is also the one who said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Everything we really need is in Mother Nature. Now, as we get older, sometimes the food that we get, the supply that we have available to us, does not necessarily have the vitamins and nutrients that we need to get the sufficient amounts that are required to stay healthy and vibrant. So we need to do a little supplementation. That's an individualized thing, and it's something I talk about here and there. If you want to have that conversation, find me, and we'll have the conversation about supplementation. So consume fermented foods. Eat your cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts. I think cabbage is a cruciferous vegetable. Eat those. They're just good for your health. They have so many antioxidant abilities. They have so many vitamins and nutrients. They're just really, really, really the best of the best veggies. You can include with that, which are not cruciferous, but dark green leafy vegetables, also really good for you. Kale is one of those, but the dark green leafy lettuces are really good for you. And that's, of course, my favorite one is iceberg. Iceberg, I think, has about the same nutrition as a glass of water. So you really need to go for like the vibrant red lettuces and those the colorful ones. The more, in the case of fruits and vegetables, it's almost 100%. The more color, the healthier it is. Do 20 minutes of walking every day. How easy is that? 20 minutes of walking every day, but do it interval style. And interval style is where you walk at a normal pace, and then you take whatever time you can do. Take a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes and run or jog or walk as fast as you can, and then slow back down. And do that throughout the 20 minutes. Just do intervals of different paces in a nutshell. That's the easiest way to explain that. And then 10 minutes of nose breathing into your diaphragm. Now, if you watch the show, you may have watched the show where I had Dr. Sue Morter on, and Sue has a breathing technique from her book, The Energy Codes. A great read, and I think a life-changing read. The Energy Codes. It's called Morabundu, I think. Morabunda is what the breathing technique is called. And basically, it is a breathing technique where you start with a space above your head, the golden light space above your head, and you breathe in and you breathe past your third eye, your throat, your heart, and your root chakra, and then exhale into Mother Earth, and then reverse it. Draw back up through the root, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and up here. And it's a healing breath. And there's kind of there's noises really that you make, or sensations that you experience as you're doing it in Sue Morter's technique, so that you are, I think, emphasizing that it's making its way through. Simplified, just nose breathing. Breathe through your nose. Fill your diaphragm and exhale. Had a conversation with an old friend yesterday about breath work, and one of the best ways to do breath work from the standpoint of it having be a healing modality is to not have any interval between the breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. A lot of us I've done like box breaths. Box breaths are where you inhale for, pick a number. You inhale for 8 seconds. And you hold it for 8 seconds. Then you exhale for 8 seconds. And then you hold that for 8 seconds. And then you inhale for 8 seconds, hold for 8 seconds, exhale for 8. You get it. That's a box breath. Okay. Those are different healing modalities for breath, but very simplified is this, what I just said was it's the 10 minutes of nose breathing to the diaphragm. Just fill yourself up all the way. Bend, expand that belly, let it out. The fifth one is an interesting one, especially as we grow older. 7 hours at least of sleep. And that can be a challenge. Be a challenge for a lot of us. As we grow older, the sleeping thing is more difficult. Part of that is because our melatonin production lessens as we get older. Your melatonin is my understanding, if I'm correct, is serotonin during the daytime changes to melatonin in the evening. And the problem as you get older is that, like so many other things, by the time we're in our 60s and 70s, we may be producing 20% of the melatonin that we produced when we were younger. So supplementing melatonin can be a huge benefit. You got to be careful about, you may have to experiment. Melatonin is going to work, but you have to experiment with different kinds of melatonin, because some of the synthetics may not work 100%. The other thing that we produce that diminishes as we get older is GABA, and I should really know it's GABA, which is it's an abbreviation for gamma something acid. It's a long name, and I should know it, and I should have had it written down here for you, but I don't have it. And GABA diminishes as we get older. And GABA is the ingredient that helps to quiet the mind. When you wake up in the middle of the night, I always refer to it as management nightmares. When you wake up in the middle of the night and all I can think about is my business, what I didn't do, what I got to do, blah, blah, blah. There's no sure way to get back to sleep using that kind of mindset. GABA is the thing that helps to calm that down. And again, we produce it, but we produce less of it as time goes by. So supplementing them can be a real benefit in helping you to sleep at night. I have a thing I use, and of course, I'm not going to recommend anything to you that I don't use myself, and if I use it, I probably market it. This spray is called Sleep, and it is melatonin, GABA, and valerian root. Valerian root has been a sleep aid for eons, literally for eons. And I do 8 sprays of this under my tongue at night, and it helps me get to sleep. And if I wake up, I'm 71 years old, and men of a certain age, we might get up to have to go to the bathroom more often than we'd like to. And sometimes you might wind up staying awake. Well, this stuff helps me get back to sleep. And if I have any trouble getting back to sleep, I can do 8 more sprays of this and then go back to sleep. And I can never worry about being groggy in the morning or feeling any kind of hangover, because there's a lot of those natural sleep aids out there, and certainly a lot of the over-the-counter pharmaceutical sleep aids make you feel dopey in the morning. This one works, and I feel clear and awake in the morning. I also, and just another adjunct to that, of course, is the CBD that I use all the time. And this CBD its purpose is to create or facilitate homeostasis, balance in the body. When it's time for bed, I have discovered that I don't want to do this just before bed. I want to do this an hour before bed. And it just helps to calm the body down. And that helps with the sleep. So as we get older, we might need some assistance in sleeping. I also have I have a drink that I do also, a half an hour before bedtime, which is a tart cherry drink, and tart cherry is a natural source of melatonin. I've used that for 6 years now, and I love it. It really works. 7 years actually. Um, so yeah, and that's 7 hours of sleep. That was a study done on people over 50 into their 70s. So that 7 hours of sleep is probably important. I am finding that as I've gotten older, 8 hours of sleep seems to be the magic number for me. If I don't get 8 hours, I might not be alert and alive. And if I sleep longer than that, sometimes then I do feel groggy. Or if I don't necessarily sleep longer than that, I just stay in bed, right? I don't want to get up. So yeah, so those are some things that you can do to help yourself. Now you can take any one of those 5 and take them to another level. Take that sense of growing older to another level. Instead of just 10 minutes of walking, you can do 30 minutes of walking, or you can do an hour 3 times a week, or you can do, I think one of the greatest things in the world to do for me personally is resistance training, is to lift weights. You don't have to lift a lot of weight. I'll tell you what, man, I'm reflecting on a regular basis on how much less weight I can lift than I did 10 years ago. But that's the way it works. You have to be okay with that. And you can still, at my age, 71, you can still build muscle. And building muscle on your body is one of the most surefire ways to forestall the aging process by itself, because you are losing muscle tissue every single year to a thing called sarcopenia. If you've watched this show, you've heard me say sarcopenia. Sarcopenia sounds like a disease. It's not a disease. It is part of the natural process of aging, and it is just simply age-related muscle wasting. And what happens is the more sedentary you are, the more muscle tissue you lose, until by the time you're my age, if you have been sedentary and do not exercise, you could have lost 40% of your lean tissue to fat. And what happens is that's when you see people in their 60s and 70s hunched over. You see them walking haltedly. You see this happens to older men, where they almost can't stand up on their own. And the reason is because they've lost the muscle tissue in their glutes and their hamstrings. Those are the muscles that help you stand up. I mean, it's really funny. Your glutes are hysterical to me, man. Those muscles in your butt, you use them for everything. Use them to stand up, use them to lie down, use them to sit down. Use them to get up from any of those other than standing positions. Use them to walk, use them to run, use them to play golf, use them to play tennis. You use them for everything. Your glute muscles are involved. And you'll see all kinds of stretches for your hamstrings and your quads and blah. Stretch your glute muscles, exercise your glute muscles, and you will make a difference. One of the greatest exercises of study after study after study as we get older, one of the most incredible things we can do for our bodies is squats. Who knew? I can remember at Archbishop Malloy High School in the 1960s, what was our coach's name? Jack Curran. Excuse me. Jack Curran is a legend in New York City high school sports. Jack Curran, we didn't have any equipment. We had a few basketballs. We didn't have any equipment in the gym. What we would do, we'd go to gym for 45 minutes and we'd do calisthenics. And we did squats ad infinitum. We did squat thrusts, which now people would call a burpee. We did those, again, ad infinitum, push-ups, sit-ups. We did all of the jumping jacks. We did those for 45 minutes. I mean, it's amazing that all of us were in better shape than we were. But the truth of the matter is, those squats, Jack LaLanne was doing squats 70 years ago, 60 years ago on TV. Squats, jumping jacks, those things exercise the core. They exercise the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads. And those things help to hold us upright. Your core is not just your abdominal muscles. It is the muscles in your back, your abdomen, but it's also those muscles below the waist that help to keep you upright and moving and alive. Okay, so there's a lot to be said for doing that additional exercise beyond just what I talked about there in the beginning, 10-minute walk. Although a 10-minute walk is, if you're not doing anything, 10-minute walk is better than nothing. When it comes to eating the vegetables, eat your vegetables, man. Eat your cruciferous vegetables. But if you want to up some of the things, there's some other things here. If you want to feel better, feeling better is about generating neurotransmitters, positive neurotransmitters, and they are, the ones that we are most familiar with are serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, and norepinephrine. And all of them can be fired with food. Just like everything else, man. What you put in your body fires those things. So, serotonin is it's associated with happiness. It's associated with contentment, and feeling centered. And the things you eat for that are one of the things I mentioned earlier, fermented foods. You eat whole grains, preferably gluten-free whole grains, but whole grains. Poultry, actually, if you're a meat eater and you like poultry helps to increase your serotonin levels. Legumes, lentils, peas, those things help to raise your serotonin levels. And of course, number one on the hit parade, folks, is avocados. An avocado a day, it's better than the apple a day. An avocado a day will help you to raise your serotonin levels and feel good, on top of giving you good plant protein, amazing plant fats that are just nothing but good for your body. The avocado is, I think, probably one of my favorite fruits, and you can vegetables, and you can do an avocado so many different ways. I put it in a shake all the time. You can eat it with a spoon, little bit of Himalayan pink salt on it. Just eat it with a spoon. A friend of mine was talking about putting turmeric on it and pink salt, and just eat it with a spoon. I eat it with a spoon all the time, or cut up on a salad. However you want to eat it, get an avocado a day into your system. It'll change your life. Increasing dopamine. Dopamine is associated with focus, motivation, with energy, and with confidence. You get it from fish, and of course, you want your good fish, your salmon, your anchovies, your sardines, your halibut, and swordfish. The good, oily, thick fishes. Those are the ones that you're going to get the best benefit from anyway. Nuts, seeds, fermented dairy products, a good full-fat yogurt. Believe it, a full-fat yogurt, but not with all the crap in it. Not with all sugar and the artificial flavorings. And if there's fruit in it, great, but it's got to be natural fruit. The smartest way to do that really is to get yourself a full-fat plain yogurt, which I can't stand. I can't stand the taste of plain yogurt. To me, it's just disgusting. So what I do is I take blueberries. It works great. Frozen blueberries. Frozen blueberries you can get 24/7, 365 all year long. You got them. Frozen blueberries, maybe a little banana. You can put pineapple in there. You can put anything you want in there. Mix it up and let it sit. And let it sit for a half hour. You can cheat a little bit and put a teaspoon of maple syrup in there, or a little honey. Something with the lower glycemic index, not artificial sugar, white sugar. Mix it up, let it sit, but you're going to get that great fermented yogurt into your body. Good for you, good for raising those dopamine levels. Acetylcholine is something we don't really talk about a whole lot. It's also about mental fitness and confidence. It's about, optimism. Emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is about your ability to deal with stress on a regular basis. So you get that from oatmeal, and I think that the preference is always the steel cut oats, but I think there's a few studies that say steel cut oats and regular oats, as long as it's oatmeal, doesn't make any difference. I love oatmeal. I probably don't make the healthiest oatmeal in the world, because you know what I'm a real fan of, and people think this is crazy, but I'm a real fan of putting a big slab of butter in my oatmeal. People think I'm nuts. And maple syrup, and then fruit. I put lots of blueberries in those frozen blueberries, put them in my oatmeal. I put them in the water that boils before I put the oatmeal in. Cinnamon in there as well, without any question. Oatmeal, nuts, whole grains, again, preferably gluten-free. Sesame seeds. And I guess sesame seeds, you can make something called tahini out of it. I guess that's really good. I've never tried it. I've never even seen it, so I don't even know what it's about. But that'll raise your acetylcholine levels. and norepinephrine, which is also kind of redundant around motivation, energy, and confidence. You get that from eggs, from everybody's favorite dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao dark chocolate, which is pretty much all I eat for chocolate anymore. Your dark green leafy vegetables, and the old favorite, apples. Apples have so many benefits for your diet, and it gives you a little bit of that satisfying your craving for sweets, but it's a low glycemic index. You get great fiber, get a little bit of carbs from it, and they're really, really good for you in so many different ways. So those are some other things you can add to your dietary intake to up level your neurotransmitters to feel good. When you feel good, it's possible just to up level everything around your life. Everything about what you're doing here and there and everywhere is enhanced by feeling good. I've said on the show, I've said it a million times in my life, we in America, we walk around feeling like crap. We don't know we feel like crap until we stop feeling like crap. And then we're like, wow, what was that? That's the result of eating the things that up level all of those neurotransmitters, your serotonin, your dopamine, your acetylcholine, and your norepinephrine. But you have to feed them. The next piece of that for me, or another piece of it that people ask about. Let's have another sip of this coffee before it gets cold. How you start your day makes all the difference in the world, I believe. I start my day with what I refer to as my daily spiritual practice, and it really kind of occurs from the minute I decide I'm going to get out of bed. Before I do that, I thank the divine. I wake up every morning. I use the word God. You can use whatever word you want, or universe, spirit, whatever. I always say, thank you, God. I mean, good morning, God. Thank you for this day. That's what I say every single morning. Then I have 5 affirmative phrases that I say after that. I do some minor stretching. It has to do with basically that what's going on in my back and the fact that I'm kind of doing a lot of activation of my those muscles I talked about earlier, the glutes, the hamstrings, and the quadriceps, as well as my calf muscles, because I developed an incredible weakness in my knees and an inability actually to crouch down and get back up and maintain my balance. It was just weird, and I don't even know how to describe it totally. But I've been working on those a lot, and I have improved what I thought was a really scary situation. I've improved it dramatically. But I do these stretches every morning to kind of like loosen up my back and the lower part of my body. Actually, the lower back and the glutes is what I'm really loosening up more than anything. And I do that for 30 seconds worth of stretching, 45 seconds worth of stretching. I get out of bed. First thing I do in the morning is I have 2 big glasses of water, 2 16-ounce glasses of water. That's how I start my day. I got a quart of water in me before I even do my first thing. And the reason for that is because we are as dehydrated as we're going to be all day long when we wake up in the morning. We lose as much water from our body in respiration and just breathing during the course of the night as we will lose even from exercise. So you wake up in the morning dehydrated. So I rehydrate my body with those 2 big glasses of water. I go for my coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. I love my coffee. I don't care what anybody says about coffee. I'm drinking my damn coffee. So I have my coffee, but I go to meditation. My meditation includes the meditation itself, prayer work, intention setting, and writing my gratitudes. That is my spiritual practice. And it's every day, you hope, but rarely less than 5 days a week. In fact, almost never less than 5 days a week. I really try. It's who I am. It's my daily spiritual practice. That's why I call it daily spiritual practice. I do it daily. And it goes for, depending on the day, it's going to go 40 minutes. Today was an hour and 5 or 6 minutes. Yesterday was an hour and 15 minutes. Just depends on the day, how long I'm going to meditate and do my prayer work and my gratitudes, as I say. Then after that, I'm going to exercise. And my exercise is interesting these days. I've had to develop a whole new way of exercising, being content with body weight exercises. Because again, 95% of my belongings are in storage. And that includes my Bowflex and my weight bench and all of my free weights, with the exception of my dumbbells that Lisa and I brought here to the house. So we have at least the dumbbells. But for the most part, a lot of squats, a lot of push-ups, a lot of crunches. And I have started to adopt just yesterday, actually, yesterday and today, a daily yoga practice to really strengthen that core area and to make sure that I am just giving myself the benefit of being as flexible as I possibly can. I think the flexibility thing is huge as you get older, because it's things stiffen up, tighten up, and we just get inflexible. And if you don't move it or lose it, baby, that's the way it works. You have to actually do something to get yourself flexible and to stay flexible. And then I'm going to have my shake. The shake is huge in my book. You need a good protein shake. In my book, unless you are a big time weightlifter, in my book, and I shouldn't even say it that way, really, plant-based protein is what I'm after. I'm not after whey protein. I'm after plant-based protein. It digests better. It's more bioavailable. And for the most part, you get better nitrogen usage out of it. You get just better usage of plant protein. I also use the master amino complex, which gives me about a 99% usage of it. The aminos go directly into muscle tissue, and in like 22, 23 minutes, those aminos are in your muscle tissue, building new tissue. It's one of the surefire ways to build muscle, even without exercise. That's clinically proven. That's not something I just made up. So if you want more information on that, again, you can find me for that. But the protein shake I do is all plant-based protein. I actually use 3 different shake ingredients that I put together. I do about a quarter of a cup of apple cider vinegar in there. I do a heaping quarter cup of blueberries. I will do some turmeric in there, some cacao powder, some cinnamon, and also have an energy drink that I'm putting in there that's mostly B vitamins, and an additional kind of just a small scoop of a green drink that contains a lot of spirulina and chlorella, which are just great algae-based nutrients for your body. Didn't mean to kick the camera there. And that's my shake in the morning. And that shake is hugely important to me, because here's something else I've discovered or researched, really. The women, as we get older, women need 25 to 30 grams of protein first thing in the morning. Men need 35 to 40 grams of protein first thing in the morning. So my 2 shakes, my shakes, I'm sorry, but the 3 ingredients that I use, one of them in one scoop only has about 5 grams of protein, but the other 2 in a scoop, one has 20 grams, one has 22 grams, I believe. So I'm getting over 40 grams of protein in that drink first thing in the morning. Now, I also want to mention, I don't want to forget this. My beloved Lisa does the exact opposite. She works out first and then does her meditation. Do whatever works. I have tried many, many times to work out first and then meditate. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why. It doesn't resonate with me. I want to do my meditation first and then work out. So that's starting your day. And I think what happens is when you do the meditation and you do the workout and you do get the great nutrition into your body to start the day, I think what you really do is set yourself up for an amazing ability to be resilient in the face of whatever life has to throw at you. You have to believe, you have to know without a question or a doubt that the universe is conspiring for your highest good, and that everything that happens is happening for you, not to you. But it doesn't necessarily feel that way in the moment. And if we can get ourselves nourished to the point where those neurotransmitters are up there and we feel that sense of being 8 foot tall and bulletproof, that nothing's going to get me, nothing's going to stop me. I say all the time, because I've been sober for 33 years, I walked through the fires of hell back in the days when I was using and abusing, and came out the other side. Nothing's going to get me. But that doesn't mean there aren't days that are tougher than others. There aren't days that are like, oh crap, what is this now? But when you set yourself up to have a certain amount of resilience towards all of those things, then they don't bother you as much, or they don't bother you at all. Or you find yourself in a position that when they do bother you, you know how to just get out, make it go away. That's pretty much it for me today, folks. That's all I've got for you. I want to, of course, I want to tell you that this show is sponsored by, of course, the one, the only, HempWorks. Where is it? There it is. Hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig. Go there and you will find my CBD and my coffee, as well as a line of other products that are just off the charts. And that's all part of the umbrella company at the bottom scroll there, mydailychoice.com. My Daily Choice is, I'm kind of referring to it these days as an affiliate mall. I mean, there's 9 different brands under there. You can pick the brand or brands that you wish to do affiliate marketing with. And, if you look around these days, every single millionaire on the planet has somewhere between 5 and 9 streams of income. I don't care what you're doing. You need another stream of income. You might need 2 or 3 streams of income. I'm not telling you want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a millionaire, but what I do want to do is be abundant. I want to feel like I am not just surviving, but thriving in this world. And that in this day and age requires, particularly for me and my beloved Lisa as entrepreneurs, it requires more than 1 stream of income. You got to have other things going on. Not every business is great every single day. But if you have multiple streams, this one might be good today and the other one not so good, or, different mixes and matches of that. So just a thought. You can find me on Instagram at evolving_hippie. I'm just getting involved in Instagram again. By the way, you know what? I want to tell you another thing here. Let's go back to my daily choice. I have seasonal allergies. And my seasonal allergies here in North Carolina have been interesting because in Colorado, I was very conscious of the fact that I was really, really, really allergic to pine pollen. And I believe it wasn't lodgepole, it was ponderosa pine pollen, I believe. Right outside our patio on our townhouse, there were 2 huge pine trees that just kind of rained yellow pollen on us all spring long, and I was sneezing and stuff like crazy. Come here to North Carolina. The pine pollen is around, but it's different pine pollen. I don't notice ponderosas around so much. I certainly don't see a whole lot of lodgepoles, but the pines that are here, that pollen doesn't seem to bother me too much. But surprise, there's a gazillion other kinds of plant life here in North Carolina that aren't in Colorado. Colorado, we got aspens and pine trees. But here, you've got such a huge variety. So there's all kinds of pollen floating around all the time. And sneezing and sniffling myself like crazy. I have been using over-the-counter allergy medicine, which I'm not fond of. I've actually been using effervescent cold medicine that has worked somewhat. And I've controlled it to some degree, but it's really annoying when you wake up in the morning and you sneeze 15 times. I remembered I had something here. This is an essential oil. It's from the Mantra line, which is also something that I represent. The Mantra line is part of mydailychoice.com. And this is Breathe. It's what it's called. And I just put, I literally, I take this thing and I put my finger over the cap and shake a little bit of my finger, a little under each nostril. You can smell the eucalyptus in there, but there's other oils in there as well. And it has helped me to conquer my seasonal allergies the last 3 days. It's been amazing. Amazing. So if you have seasonal allergies, you're interested in a little bit of relief, let me know. That's also part of My Daily Choice. Excuse me. mydailychoice.com/Ken Ludwig. And you got to remember this without a question or a doubt. New Thought Media Network is a nonprofit organization. We live and breathe by virtue of your generosity. So if you like what you see on New Thought Media, if you like what we're doing here and what we're trying to do, bringing you just good content. I hope I'm providing you with some content that's worth something to somebody. If you like that, go to newthoughtmedia.org. That's ntmedia.org. Click on donate. We are thrilled to get whatever it is you want to bestow upon us. We're absolutely grateful for your generosity. Want to repeat, this art behind me is from Amy Livingstone at sacredartstudio.net. Sacredartstudio.net. That is the Unity Consciousness is the name of that painting. She's got all kinds of incredible works on her website. Go have a look, and maybe you'll find something there you like. She also has, a lot of these things are her artwork are available in print, so you don't have to buy the whole thing. You can get a print of it if you like it. Not everybody's got all kinds of room for all that stuff. You can find me at teamrocketnow@gmail.com. That's that bottom crawl there, teamrocketnow@gmail.com. You can also find me on my Facebook page. My beloved Lisa and I have the branded Facebook page, Vibrant Aging. So that's it for me. As always, I am immensely grateful for the great gift of your time and your attention. I wish you all the love and all the blessings the universe has to offer. I hope you will join me next week and every week, Thursday at 2 o'clock Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. But until then, namaste, my friends. Enjoy.